Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Today I'm doing my first vlog, and I thought rather than going for a run at 6 o'clock in the morning on the treadmill, I go for a walk, shoot a vlog, quick one, just discussing a bunch of stuff that I've been up to, and also getting up to speed with the current events occurring around the world and domestically. So I thought this would be an opportune time to do that in a day like this where it's a little bit of light snow, which I kind of miss. I'm sure some of you guys miss it. We're now into the third week of New Year, and just kind of an update on what I'm doing, setting up the budgets, or updating it, a plan for my scheduling for the week. I gotta do some research, get more involved in social media, digital marketing, and also trying to create a website. So like I said before, I'll be starting a business this year. I finished school like in September, or in August, and during that period after school, I was in that process of looking for other opportunities that I can start, because the business opportunity that I was developing during the postgrad entrepreneurship program required an investment of about $40,000 to $50,000, and I don't have that money right now. So I was trying to find other opportunities that I can go into that didn't require so much capital, and I came up with several. But one thing that I discovered about myself, and I've always known this, even many years ago, 20 years ago, when I first started a few companies, is that you got to be passionate with what you do. And the word passion is, maybe I should say more importantly, for myself, okay? It might not appeal to everybody or apply to everybody, but doing something that matters to you is important, maybe as an entrepreneur, because the amount of time that you're going to be investing will be quite substantial. I mean, unless you're a serial entrepreneur and you're just winging every job or every opportunity that you get, some more successful than others, but finding the drive and the fuel to go through all the pains, trials, and tribulations, I would imagine requires being somewhat passionate or interested, or finding some level of importance. So for myself, I had to hone down what were important to me, and what matters to me is my ability to change something about the world. I think is important. My ability to contribute something that is necessary, maybe even inevitable, but that also strongly aligns with my own values, is important to me. So that helped. Setting that criteria helped me with understanding what opportunities are more important, what to focus on. Other things that I've been on the fly, write a book on deep work by Cal Newport. It didn't take me long to read. It was only like 260 pages, probably about 10 hours. I was trying to get it done in one day, but it took me about 4 or 5 days doing piecemeal reading. Surprisingly, it's about being focused, and I actually couldn't focus. I was just too busy getting a lot of other things done. So anyways, so current events, I have to, so now that I've honed down business idea, and I go back to the actual original idea, because it's really, it's important for myself, and I think it's important for society. It is food related. So now I'm just in the process of updating my business plan, and for the most part, just really putting a little bit more substance into the actual research and the business plan. So I've had to update the 5 C's in marketing, one being the the context, which is really getting a good gauge of what the political, economic, environmental, et cetera, all the externalities that affect any company. Updating that because I think that's just pretty much the given that having a clear understanding of where we are right now, economically, politically, is important because that's going to have an impact on your business decisions. So, a few things that I've read. Core inflation for December has gone up from 3.5 in November to 3.6. I know a lot of you guys are anticipating a rate cut anytime soon. I don't believe so. At least not from my previous research while I was in school. Do we see an interest rate cut or 2%? 2% was an anomaly, okay? Historically, I believe it's like 7%. So you could probably expect it to go in that route. And I'm talking about overnight rate inflation, not the bond rates, right? So not the 5-year or 10-year treasury yields that we often ignore. And yeah, they do run in tandem with interest rate hikes or spikes for the overnight lending, but for the most part, treasury yields, which influences the mortgage rates, have a different mechanism, and mostly it boils down to risk premium within the market. So I believe these risk premium will change depending on the institution and what they see forthcoming. And one of the biggest problem right now is geopolitical, as you probably already know, especially in the Middle East. Ukraine-Russia war was an important factor in contributing to our inflation that we saw that crawled up as high as 5 or 6%. We're now gone down from that peak, but we're still at the 3.6. Governments are still trying to hit that 2% target, which is not reasonable, obviously. But we should see maybe just a hold for now for the interest rates for a while. But that core inflation should rise. CPI core inflation should rise sometime this year. This is the election year for the U.S. As you know, Trump Iowa caucus, and we could pretty much expect, I expect at least, Trump to win. And what does that mean for 2025? We're going to still see the Trumpian policies, as you probably know, his attack on immigration, climate change initiatives, etc., etc. These things will have an impact. Now, I should have throw a little bit of caveat there. Now, his policies did, in fact, although they were considered anti-climate, they did have an impact, actually, because one critical element that governments use, especially economists, is their understanding of and the importance of incentives. A lot of the industrial production have quietly implemented more green energy use, cutting in waste. So nonetheless, they're doing it indirectly. So what else do I have to talk about? Housing prices is gone down. Can't remember the number right now. I think it's 3.5% as well, or 1.9% from the previous month. Overall, it's about a 7.9% decline since the peak of first quarter 2022. So it's kind of still good. I mean, when you factor in the price increase from COVID pandemic, of like roughly about 22%. We're still up, right? So you can expect that this period, at least for the next 5 years, is about efficiency and optimization of all assets. So with that said, the Canadian government, or at least the Ontario government, has decided to collab with Walmart and Staples to house for those private institutions to house Service Ontario into the stores. Now, that could be a reason for multiple reasons, right? But that probably has more to do with creating more efficiencies or maximizing the capital stock for these private institutions like Walmart and Staples, because they're not getting a lot of people back into their doors, right? Because of COVID. So, or at least, sorry, not because of COVID, because of any shifting towards digital, right? Or online shopping. So it's making these brick and mortars a little irrelevant. And I think a little transition away from the brick and mortar model. That'll take some time, but the government, I guess, may be part of an industrial policy to assist these large companies, the too big to fail companies, to transition into that new world, right? It's going to take some time. So rather than government paying for a standalone building for the Service Ontario, where you get licenses and other cards, etc. I think reduce the cost and shift it towards this private institution by giving them these space that they no longer need because capacity is down, right? Or at least demand is down. So, anyways, other things that's important. Interest rates. Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered it. I mean, I want to go talk about more of the geopolitical situation in the Middle East, as you know, the US, Israel, or Palestine and Israel war. It's obviously expanding to the Lebanese border, to Yemen. Now Iran is attacking Iraq, military bases or U.S. military bases in the region. So we can see an expansion on that, and that's not good for price of oil. For sure, it's going to go up. Saudi Arabia will likely get targeted for attacks, the Persian Gulf, right across with Iran. And they can easily hit those Aramco facilities. They're not too far, maybe about 50 miles out on the other side, or 100 miles out. But anyways, and then this new president from Taiwan, another issue. China's already saying that how much of a threat it is to the political order of China's one China policy. So we can see that getting ramped up in the near few weeks, I would say. Anyways, so that's all I wanted to discuss. I wanted to do this because I don't want to just journal everything. It's tiring. So anyways, talk to you soon.